Hi, welcome to Memory Chips Podcast. I am Anne Wyszynski, and I have a collection of potato chip bags from around the world. And every so often, I go through this collection, and a certain bag or bags will bring up memories of people, places, ideas, and I really want to share these with you. So if you please subscribe, you will never miss a bag. For today's episode, I need to start things off by revealing that I have an absolute mania for Bulgaria. I realize that many people have no idea that Bulgaria is in Eastern Europe. It's wedged between Turkey, Greece, North Macedonia, Serbia, Romania, and the Black Sea. Actually, most people don't even know that Bulgaria is a country. I'm not even sure that I did when I first went there in 2002. A couple of circus colleagues from the town of Sliven were on tour with me, and they heard that I was on my way to Turkey, and they wanted me to swing by Sliven to check on their house and their 14-year-old son, who was living in their house with their grandmother. And little did I know that this was going to be the start of an enduring fixation that almost no one around me understands. One person who does understand me, though, is the artist and initiator Nia Pushkarova. Nia is from Sofia, which is the capital of Bulgaria, but we met in Istanbul at the same art fair where I met my husband. I had just walked her to the bus stop to put her on an overnight bus back to Sofia about an hour before the whole shit went down. And if you haven't heard that episode yet, go listen to it. Back to Nia. Her trip to Istanbul brought her and me into contact with collaborators who would become great friends and provide amazing inspiration. But first, let's talk about today's chips. The first one is just, it's like, I think it's the like Bulgarian version of sour cream and onion.
Yes, it is.
And say how you like what's sour. Say it in Bulgarian: sour cream and onion.
Smetana s lukom. Actually, this is even written in Russian, which is like one of the very rare packs of chips that you can find here.
Yeah. So this is a Russian company. Sibireg is the name of the chips company, but they distribute in Bulgaria. I can't even read it with these glasses on. Hold on. Anyway, it's got like Serbian, Russian, Bulgarian.
Obviously, the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah, the Eastern Bloc countries.
Yeah.
So I don't know, would you describe smetana as sour cream?
Smetana is totally sour cream.
Okay.
And it's with onion. This one is with onion.
Yeah, sour cream and onion. So this is the most popular, besides just like salted. This is the most popular flavor in the U.S. sour cream and onion. So I chose that one because that was also I collected that in Bulgaria, and then the other one is I think this is a Bulgarian brand. It's Chippy,
yes.
And it's beer flavor.
Hrupkavi kartofki za bira. Oh my God! So it is the side dish for beer.
And just like in general, how traditional things are in Bulgaria compared to other places in Europe. How like it's really way more traditional than other Bulgarian or other European places. Almost all the Bulgarian chips flavors have Bulgarian wool tapestry, like some sort of traditional textile. On them. But anyway, but this is beer. So, I mean, of course, like beer flavored chips aren't really big here. Like I've seen them a couple times, but I think it's more just the fact that we drink a ton of beer. Yeah. And there's tons of breweries here. So anyway, so I chose the beer because that's also similar. Yeah. And then I have two.
That's an emblematic one.
Right. And then I have two here I don't know if it's stack or smack. How would you?
It would be smack. Actually.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
because sometimes the M is a T, so I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
okay. So it's smack.
Yeah, this is also kartoffelные chipsy. This is also in Russian. So so вкусом, I can't say what they are, like meat something.
Yeah, they're meats. So I couldn't. Yeah, but this one. Okay, so one. I was trying to decide which one was more appropriate for West Virginia. Either this ham or
the other one is
kind of like is chicken. Is it chicken?
Okay,
we're gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go for ham because I think ham. So yeah. So we're going for the smack ham flavor. My new thing is trying to develop event specific chips flavors. So like what do you think would be the flavor of what do you think that like Pernik USA potato chip flavor? What do you think that would be?
That would be a very successful brand, I think.
No. But what do you think the flavor? What do you think would be?
The flavor.
Yeah.
I think there should be some kind of hot chili peppers involved into that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, the peppers. Yeah, peppers are a big thing in Bulgaria too. Yeah. So just there, you heard me mention Pernik USA, and that is what Nia and I are discussing today. Pernik USA is our ongoing art/social project that we started as part of the Water Tower Art Festival, which does not yet involve potato chip bags, but it should.
We are talking about Water Tower Art Fest, which I say it with such a pride, but it is. But
I would. It was a huge undertaking, and
it is.
And
so in fact, because it continues. I mean, it's just had so many. Just so much like social and artistic impact on not only of the place where we live, but it's like outside of the borders as well.
Right.
Started in 2006.
Vodna Kula Art Fest and the water tower was in, what was the name of the neighborhood where the water tower is?
Lozenets.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically the whole festival sprang up around, it was sort of an homage to this old water tower. Can you describe the water tower, like why it was so special?
Yeah. Well, this area is, first of all, it's a water tower that it was built like a century ago, that was supposed to give water to the highest places, like blocks of flats around the area. But it really is the highest point in Sofia. And this is a very residential area with very socialistic buildings. And this tower is built by a Viennese architect, and it doesn't look like anything around. It's like so beautiful and so magical, and it has this kind of real fairy tale quality to it, because it is just covered with ivy, and on top there is this kind of beautifully formed balcony and very, very delicate windows around it. And basically it's one of the best buildings architecturally speaking in the area, because it's built in a completely different fashion from the socialistic unified way of constructing and building.
Right.
Probably it's been working only 10 years of its existence, right from the building of it, but because it's so, but it's been like in my childhood, because this is where I lived, this is where I was born, and I just passed it by, and every time I was like, my imagination was triggered by what's going on in there, what's this, I want to get inside, and it was actually taken care of at that time. That's like 70s and 80s, but after that it just got completely abandoned, and there is like this kind of branches and bushes and shrubs all around it that didn't allow you actually to see the full beauty of it. So every time I passed it by after I came back to live in Bulgaria again in the 2000, I was like, what's this? Why is it abandoned? Like, who takes care of it? I started questioning. And then I realized that, I'm not going to, that I have the will and the power and the ambition actually to change that. And I started like going around investigating, like, whose is it, why is it in this state, and so, and it turned out that there was not even one owner. The state didn't recognize it as theirs, nor did the water company, nor northern municipality. So I said, okay, then it's it's my mission. And I just organized something for the citizens around to come and clean the garden in 2 days as a project-based initiative. And the first day, it was just me cleaning the garden.
Oh.
Yeah. But then these friends of mine just said, okay, this cannot be. So they came and helped me. Organized with a DJ, with the live music, with some projections, and that was the start.
It's like Burning Man. Just kidding.
Yeah. Burning Man.
You were in the middle of, or how did it become an art festival?
Well, the next 2 years of this initiative, I decided that this could be my creative, actually, project that makes a difference in the city. But basically, I just decided to make it into an artistic initiative, like a festival of contemporary art that had some kind of social impact in the communities, in the community, and in Sofia in general. And slowly, we started to actually incorporate not only the tower itself by coming inside and making art installations and projections and some performances and just international presence there. And then I just incorporated other buildings which were abandoned in Sofia, and it slowly became like the only initiative that it was dealing with contemporary art and some social engagement through it. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was great fun. Like, so I participated for, I don't know how many years, but three years. Yeah, 3 years. And they were so fun because, I always had, I still always have a fondness for Bulgaria.
There was one case where you wanted to get Aziz, which is like a really worldly known by his talent and
yeah.
But it just exceeded the how to say, there was imbalance between what he wanted as a fee and what the whole festival cost.
I know.
So it was like, Annika, can we do this? I mean, do we need to do this? And
that was the year when we had our marriage, and it was still at the water tower. So the first year I did it in Bankia in the baths.
Yes, the performance.
The performance in the baths, and then I think the next year Arnie and I got married. That was we did a marriage performance. 2011. So I wanted to hire Aziz to play our wedding.
I know. Yeah. I mean, now when I think about it, it would have been really good, but it would have been like a little bit off the track that we.
It didn't fit in. It didn't. Yeah, it didn't fit into.
But I also want to say something before that. It's like you really helped me. 2010, when we met at Supermarket Art Fair, and we decided that, okay, you're coming, like all of those people that were like, we were friends already, like getting really good vibes and just communicating with each other. And all of us just decided that we're going to meet in Bulgaria, in Sofia, for the festival. And you really helped me with the open call then, but you really like made a very good text explaining like what is this and who is it for, and which I never really had that kind of experience before. And of course I was like very, I didn't know how to write all these things because we didn't have any experience in that. So that was a real great help, I have to say.
Oh, I had no idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it helped because I mean it's really a significant event and project, and so I'm glad to have some sort of impact on it, and it was a great fun, and also it was just like our little like group of misfits or whatever.
Great people, I would say.
Yeah, great people.
Great people.
2015, you had the festival. You had moved it because you were using different abandoned buildings and stuff around the area. You moved out of. At some point, you moved out of Sofia and away from the water tower. And one time you decided on Pernik.
Yeah.
And Pernik, from the first time that we did the festival in Bankia, I had a soft spot for Pernik because we used to drive by it, Pernik, and I think that was I responsible for driving people? I think I was chauffeuring people back and forth. Pernik was on the way, and it would just look like a wasteland. Like, I mean, it looked like a whole bunch of, and it was, well, I'll get to that in a minute, but it was very similar to here in West Virginia.
Yeah.
But it started, I didn't find that out later because I wasn't living here yet. So I didn't know that, but it was full of new developments, like weird subdivision developments, like really newly built. It just looked like there was nothing there. And then suddenly there was like a lot of new housing that was just like the same, just like all the same stuff in these neighborhoods. And so we used to pass by there, and I think I said, I want to go in there and see what it looks like. And we drove around in Pernik, and I was with Arnie. And so the special thing is that this festival is the first time this is where Arnie and I consummated our relationship. We had a friendship. It was not romantic. And then at some time we had decided to turn it romantic, and we said we were going to do that in Bulgaria. For whatever reason that we were gonna meet in Bulgaria. So this was the first time that Arnie and I had like been together romantically. We drove past Pernik, and then we made up this fantasy about living there and him becoming the mayor.
Yeah.
And so we started calling him the mayor of Pernik.
Let me just tell you a little bit about the actual place and stuff, because it's true. I decided to go outside of Sofia, not because we've run out of spaces, but because I got actually really inspired by getting into a new place where there is absolutely nothing. There is no even understanding of the concept of contemporary art, and making socializing example of what it could be by just implementing some of the maybe cultural, architectural, historic, traits into what we do. And Pernik is really, this is like it's a whole subculture division by itself. This city has sprung out because of the mining industry. So it's not, there was a settlement before that, but really not in the size of a whole city. And all the people that live there, they came from all around Bulgaria and maybe even outside, as workers, and this is how this had started. But then there is no industry anymore, so those people were left there with absolutely no reason to stay there. But their properties is there, their life is there, kids and families and stuff. So it's like it's like a bit underdog of the whole country, because it's really sad to see like all this kind of changes that we had from communism to harsh capitalism, that it just left people with absolutely no means of and no reason to live anywhere in places like that. So you can imagine how culturally this place is like completely
desert. It's like a culture desert. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So in this fashion, I wanted to make a stand, because we are socially engaged, and we called the whole edition To Pernik with Love, where your story came in really smoothly.
So that's what I was going to say. So that was really interesting, because you had identified this place as someplace that wasn't familiar so much with contemporary art. So I think that was really hilarious, because the year that you started, that you branched out into Pernik and started that initiative in Pernik, was the year that Arnie and I had moved to West Virginia. And there was a huge parallel between here, where we are, Charlestown, West Virginia. We're not in Charlestown, but Charlestown is the closest town. We're in a rural area. And Pernik, so it was the same. There was coal mining transportation. So there wasn't mining here, but there was the railroad and the transportation of coal around the rest of the country. So this was like a transportation hub where they moved goods and coal mining. So and in West Virginia is a coal mining state. So that there was that parallel. There was also the landscape is very similar. I mean, like the shape of the hills. So these are like we're in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it looks very similar to what mountains are there in Pernik?
I think it's like parts of Vitusha and Rila.
Right, Rila, yeah.
Beginning of Rila, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like kind of the foothills of maybe the Rila Mountains, and it looked similar. And then, like I was saying before, these settlements, I'm going to call them settlements. This has a totally historical, here has a very historical, a deep historical background, and it has historical places and old farmhouses as an agricultural area. And because of development, it has basically become a suburb of DC, or an exurb of Washington, DC.
Yeah.
And it is full of newly built, cheap, ugly subdivisions, completely like littering the landscape. So it's beautiful. And there's two rivers that meet here. So the Shenandoah and the Potomac River, which I think there's a river that goes through Pernik too.
Yeah, there is a river.
Yeah. So it's situated similarly on the river, and there was some art, but it's mostly folk crafts. So folk, and they do have a heritage craft show and things like that. But all of their and the music, they're really strong in folk music and things like that. But in terms of contemporary art, it doesn't exist here as much as they want it to. Just the even idea of what an artist initiative is so foreign. It's not even, I don't think many people are able to comprehend that. No, it's difficult. And so it requires, I mean, it's just a matter of education and exposure. And so that was the same. So our idea when you started doing that was like, wait, we're also trying to do that. We work as like conceptual artists and kind of area where people don't get what we're doing. I think that people have this weird idea that if they don't understand it, that it takes a lot to understand, which it doesn't. Like we try to explain. That's the beauty of conceptual art. Yeah,
exactly. But the fault of all these authorities, like in the culture sphere, is that they made it into elitarism.
Elitism. Yeah,
it's elitarian, and it's not really. It doesn't. It just excludes people, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and exactly. And so that's our hope. Is like our goal is to include people in this idea, because it is inclusive. That's the thing about it, is that like people say that I could do that. Oh, I could do that. It's like you could do it, but you don't. And the thing is that it's like, why don't you? Like, let's do it then. Because it's saying something, it's doing something, it's saying something. It actually is a way to digest the world that's going on around you and communicate that. And so why not? Like, why not do it? And so anyway, and it's accessible. Like that's the thing, is like, so we're trying to make it totally accessible. So when you put out the call for that edition of Water Tower Art Fest, we were like, oh, perfect. And that was the same weekend that they were having the art fair in Charlestown. The Charlestown Art Fair was happening that same weekend. And so we were like, okay, let's have a live link between here and there. And we'll sit at this like festival, and we'll try to like, have messages back and forth between like people that are in Pernik and people that are in Charlestown at this thing. And we'll try to connect it. And then I said, I want to make it official. Like I want this to be a long-term relationship, because they have so much in common, a partnership between these two towns.
Yeah.
And so I tried to initiate it. And so I contacted Sister Cities International.
Yeah, we have it too, but we don't say it like sister. We call it brother.
Brother cities. Okay. Well, here it's the Sister Cities. It's their motto is connect globally, thrive locally. So here, when you're driving around in the U.S., if you enter a city and it says welcome to, say, Charlestown, a lot of times if you have a sister city relationship, it'll say sister city of blank. Anyway, so I was like, I want that. I want to drive in to Charlestown and see a sign that says welcome to Charlestown, sister city of Pernik, Bulgaria. Because first of all, sometimes people don't really recognize Bulgaria as a country. They don't even know like what's Bulgaria. You're like, it's a country. Exactly. Like, and where is it? Well, it's in Eastern Europe, like actually, whatever.
It's really funny also that I went to speak to the mayor of Pernik about this as well. So we actually linked our a collaboration on you going to speak for this in Charlestown and me in Pernik, and we did get to somewhere. It was about,
we did.
of course, it is a political decision after all. I mean,
Right.
It's not really up to us, but we gave the initial kind of push to think about these things. So
right, and that's what an artist initiative is, and that's kind of what we were trying to educate. Was like, an artist initiative is a project that's initiated by artists, the way an artist thinks, and they initiate a social project or an idea or something that's initiated by them, and it's conceived of in an artistic way. Like, you're using your artist brain in order to formulate these projects.
And in these particular cities where there is not much of a basically art entertainment on the cultural sphere, to see something which is like completely out of the normal way of seeing art or culture, like a factory that is already quite derelict. It's not even with the roof. It's just staying there. Just its constructions just being there, and people just they really undervalue this. And all of a sudden there is like a huge event with lots of people, and there is something happening. There is music. There is like a lot of colors, a lot of colorful people coming. Well, that changes the people's perception of their own values of what they can do here or there. So I mean, this was one of the basic things that by going to different places with our festival, we initiate the way people perceive their environment, and it's up to them to actually give them this kind of notion that that they are responsible for them as well, for the environment.
Right, exactly. And so so that was the thing. And I thought, but like you said, we initiated this, and we contacted, it is a political decision that we don't have so much control of, where we try to get the wheels set the wheels in motion. And our experience of, I'm going to tell you like what happened with our mayor, and then I want you to tell us like what happened with your mayor, because I mean, we know that it didn't happen. Like, we know the official political designation didn't happen, but we went to, the woman who was the mayor of Charlestown, her name was Peggy Smith, and she was really, really interested in rejuvenating the downtown area of Charlestown, which is historical. It was established, it's named after Charles Washington, who was George Washington's brother. So it has it had a downtown, but Charlestown had kind of become sort of, derelict. Like, nobody went to the downtown, nothing was happening, and she really wanted to rejuvenate it. And it's full of historical buildings, really beautiful houses, beautiful storefronts, totally gorgeous stuff. And she wanted to rejuvenate it with art and culture. And her idea of what art was, which around here is normal, is like, we would refer to it as crafts, like or like landscape paintings, or things like that. Nothing that like is too weird. Traditional. And so we went to her and we said, we're artists. We were talking. She's like, okay, tell me a little bit about your idea. And so we told her about how we wanted her to initiate this thing about them becoming sister cities, and that the mayors had to sign a pact, and we had to form an NGO, or like a nonprofit. You have to form an NGO on both sides in order to keep the relationship into perpetuity. So in order for it to keep going into the future, you have to get a board of directors. And so the mayor was like, I will sign that, but just to warn you, it's going to take you way too long to form this NGO, and I'm retiring. Like, when this term is over in a year, I'm not going to be the mayor again. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and so you would have to convince whoever's going to be mayor, which we don't know who that is at this point, to do it. So I would wait for you to wait. And I was like, no, like, sign it now. Like, we were really, and then, we need it now. And so she was totally into it, just like describing it. I made an infographic that was like showing all of the different, like all the similarities between Pernik, and it was like chemical plants. What was the, which don't exist. Mining,
no, it was the distillery.
Racetrack, yeah. Racetracks, distilleries.
Distillery.
I mean, that was wider Charlestown. That's not really like in Charlestown, but that's like the area is got that. It had the racetrack. We showed it to her. She was really like, that sounds great. She liked that we were artists. She was into it. Then she said, but this NGO thing's going to take way longer. You can't just like slap together an NGO and then have me sign that. Like, it's not going to happen in time for your festival.
Yes.
And so she was, she was really into it. But then at the end of the thing, she's like, I just don't understand how this is art. Mm-hmm. And we were like, yeah, it's not. Well, we were like, well, that's what it's an artist initiative where it's art because we're artists and we're doing it. And so that was like the thing. And she kind of at least pretended to appreciate it. She liked the idea, whether or not it was, we said, it doesn't matter if it's art, we're just doing it. Like, we're artists and we're doing it. So that was a really interesting way to frame the beginning of our experience as working as like contemporary artists in this area. So it was kind of interesting. But then in the end, we gave her our websites where she looked at our work, and she was like, after that, she was like, I think there were like pictures of Arnie having sex with a watermelon or something on his websites, like from that series that he did with Christian.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I don't know. I think he forgot to take that down before.
This whole idea is also not easily perceived in Bulgarian, realities as well. So I had to have a lot of communications, but I found these people who are running the History Museum in Pernik, who are my best allies in this, because they were really my partners and they were connecting me to the right people. They were bringing me to the Actually, I had a meeting in the municipality. They are very official. It was like I had to, because it's like, well, how many kilometers away? Like 80 kilometers away from Sofia or something like this, maybe less, something. But it was like in the morning. We were there. We were like very, set up for an official meeting. And I started to explain the same thing. It's like, why don't we, make initiative of sistering those both cities, and on the basis of artistic and cultural cooperation, which actually has much more to it, because there is this backgrounds of the both places that could be. And of course there were like in Bulgaria there is this kind of subversive tactics of many people, and actually the mentality works that way. If it's like from outside influence, is more likely to be accepted than if it is Bulgarian and local initiative, as I am. So to back this up with you at the other end as partners to what we do, it was a great asset. But of course, we just stumbled upon one of the major things of happening of this, and this is like the political side of it, because it cannot really have, these are like signing treaties and involving the governments and all that into making this happen. So we kind of decided, okay, so let's just make it into just an artistic showcase that this is possible. And because we were using like a lot of the places there that are abandoned, and they're like old factories that not running anymore and stuff, and people are like, really, why do you want to use them? It's like, well, but the whole impact on that was like very positive, and they were like really enthusiastic. I have to say, it's like every time I go there in Pernik and I see them like so I don't know, they have this really unbiased feedback for everything that we are kind of used to, which is so innocent and really enthusiastic and very
authentic.
Nice. Yeah, and they're like looking at all this in a really positive way. So I would I want to work again with them.
Right now, everything would have to be electronically like exchanged, which like some people are into that. I'm not, like, I have to say, like, well, part of the attraction of like why I do these work is that I like to travel, but I don't like to sightsee. I only like to go someplace if I have a reason to be there. So like, You're not just
explore, and you connect in person.
You connect with people, with people there. You're not just like seeing sights and whatever.
I'm
So
also that totally as well.
yeah.
Just to make a little bit of clarification of our main focus, apart from, of course, this is one of the levels it works, is this kind of social engagement with working with the sites in abandoned places and stuff. This is working on a purely, social, geographical, urban, or rural even level. But at the same time, there is this kind of diversity of what art encompasses in the broad, as you said, broad picture of what culture is in general. So by being by exchanging ideas on variety of issues, you do communicate on this kind of cultural level that enables us to kind of accept the differences that we have, with other people, with other background people from different backgrounds, or just different notions. So this whole notion of tolerance towards the different is in the basis of what we do, because this way you accept the deviations you have as a difference within yourself. So you're more accepting of yourself as well. So this is one of the main things that we actually find a real common ground with, the big variety of what art and culture can do.
Thanks for listening, and if you have any questions or comments about what you heard today, please post them to the review section of your podcast player. So if you use Apple Podcasts, you click on the show thumbnail and scroll down to leave a review. And then whatever happens after that is up to you, but hopefully it's nice. You can also leave posts on Instagram at @MemoryChipsPodcast.